CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards in Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. That's 800-605-4650.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida. Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. Get ready.
Deep center field and heading for the horizon.
Sports Talk Radio will never be the same.
Onion pickles, onions, pickles.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Way back and gone.
On ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
What is going on, Northwest Florida? You're now riding along in the Doghouse with the Afternoon Underdogs, and this Doghouse is brought to you by CBC Construction. We're live and local from the CBC Construction Studios. Give them a call at 850-747-3815 or go to cbcconstruction.com. They're looking for a few good men, so fill out an application and drop your resume. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. No Adam Goff with us this afternoon, which he's going to be traveling up to Louisville for, I believe, his niece's graduation. So maybe he'll be back with us next Wednesday afternoon. But as always, here on Wednesday, we're going to have Banji Bomadella with us covering the latest and greatest happenings in the Bay County sports world. Lots going on with the world of high school baseball right now. We've got some good things and some not so good things. We've got a new hire in high school football for one of our local schools. Softball is getting ready, and of course, we'll wrap it up with Banji's Baller of the Week. And then we'll have Morgan Hilliard joining us. We'll do a little Would You Rather for Would You Rather Wednesday, since we don't have 4 questions for Fano. And then we'll dive into some college baseball, hopefully make some picks. And let's see what. Oh, yeah, we got to have Mo's notes from the Burnerverse. 850-215-6290. Let's dive into our call-in question of the day. If your favorite team had to be coached by a movie or TV character for an entire season, who would you pick and how would the season go? Before we dive into that, Caveman Rick co-hosting and running the board with us. Caveman, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Glad to be here with you today. It's a fine Wednesday afternoon. Nice outside. A little cloudy out there, huh?
It's a little cloudy out there, but still a beautiful day. And, the sun is shining, even if you can't see it as brightly. And the weather is not so bad. I was talking with Boston Tim last night, and he was talking about, man, the weather right now is so nice, but you can tell that the summer is about to hit. Why? Because those no-see-ums are coming out, the mosquitoes are coming out, and that is, it's just so nice I don't want to say terrible. I'm not trying to be pessimistic here, but you're out there enjoying the nice weather, and then you just can't enjoy it very long because, especially, no-see-ums for me are the worst. Ant bites, they don't bother me too long. Mosquito bites, they'll itch for maybe a day or so, but they're kind of, spread out. No-see-ums, they're everywhere, and they itch constantly.
Yeah, for me, whatever's biting that's getting me, making me swell up, I'm not cool with. Whether it's no-see-ums, regular mosquitoes. I'm surprised no yellow flies yet. Usually you see them by now. I hadn't seen none of them, so doing okay with those. Maybe we'll have a mellow, this summer without having a bunch of those to worry about. But yeah, the bugs can kind of take the fun out of some stuff here in the Florida Panhandle.
Hey, you are right about that. If your favorite team had to be coached by a movie or TV character for an entire season, who would you pick and how would the season go? Text those answers in to 850-215-6290 or call along with us. Want to remind you guys that the Atlanta Braves will be on the air tonight. First pitch at 6:15. Coverage will start right after the Afternoon Underdogs at 6 o'clock. And here in a moment, we'll talk about the game last night. But for now, we're going to dive into your answers on my Facebook post, and you can add me as a friend, David Hayes, on Facebook. You're going to have to help me out with some of these. As most of you know, if you've been listening to the Afternoon Underdogs or to ESPN Northwest Florida on the Inside Drive for a while, I am not the biggest movie or TV fan. I kind of just watch sports, and then I'll watch stuff. My recollection is garbage. So when everyone is sitting there talking about quotes from a movie and stuff, I'm just kind of out there in left field picking daisies, if you will. But Sam Peebles has got George Knox, which I believe he is the manager for Major League, right? Or for the Indians in Major League, right?
George Knox. Maybe that is. Yeah, I think that sounds familiar. I think that sounds right.
See, if you don't know, then I don't feel bad at all. But George Knox is it's Angels in the Outfield. Angels in the Outfield is who that is. So George Knox for the Braves, I'll take that, and we can always use a few extra Angels in the Outfield for the Atlanta Braves. Boston Tim is going to be taking Leonidas from Victory. You know who that is?
No, I haven't watched it.
There we go. This is another reason I was kind of hoping that AG was going to be in today, because just like you, he's, better versed in the world of movies and sports here. So Leonidas, I don't know. Boston Tim, if you're listening right now, go ahead and call in and tell me who in the world Leonidas is, because my Google searches are not taking me to a movie. Nick Perry's got Denzel Washington. Maybe he's talking
Remember the Titans.
Yeah, Remember the Titans. What's that? Herman Boone, right?
I don't remember the name of the movie, Coach. I just remember the movie. I probably watched the movie one time.
Oh, man, that's one of my favorite movies. I've watched that one over and over and over again, especially when I was young. And it didn't hurt that the coaches there that the uniforms for Remember the Titans were very similar to Alabama, so that also
helped. Yeah.
Oh, Gary Burt's here. Gator Jamie says Kenny Powers, coaching the Gators, gets fired after a season opening loss and the resulting tirade in the post-game presser, which, if you haven't watched Eastbound and Down, Kenny Powers is a wonderful character. And then Nick
but he wasn't a coach, though, right?
He wasn't. But he says, he says, Kenny Powers, coaching the Gators, gets fired after season. So basically, he's just wanting him for the post-game presser.
I got you.
But yeah, he was not a coach. He was a player.
He was a pitcher, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a pitcher.
Yeah,
and he was a teacher.
I might have watched
a
couple seconds of that series. I think that was it. So
yeah, those are the kind that I get into, is the comedies that make no sense at all. And really, most things from Danny McBride are quite hilarious. All right, Caveman Rick, I've got my 4 ready. And then we can dive into yours, and we'll read your comments off as they come through. 850-215-6290. The call or text in question of the day is, if your favorite team had to be coached by a movie or TV character for an entire season, who would you pick? And how would the season go? I don't really care too much about the second half of it, because it's kind of hard to say how the season would go when we're talking about fictional TV or movie characters. But we'll start off with the Lightning. I think there's only one logical choice to go with for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, of course, you probably...
Are you going to go with Gordon Bombay?
There you go, man.
God,
Come on.
man,
Institute the Flying V or the Flying Bolt. Who do you got for the Flyers then?
Man, Coach Reg Dunlop.
Is that's got to be out of? Oh man, you always bring this movie up too. Go ahead, say
I'll give you a second, man.
No. We don't got time for
Paul Newman
dead
was
air.
the coach. Reg Dunlop, Slapshot, the Hanson brothers.
Okay.
So for the Philadelphia Flyers, especially back in that time when that movie came out, Slapshot, it was 70s, Broad Street Bully days, beating everybody up.
Yeah.
How could you not have Coach Reg Dunlop, the coach of the Charlestown Chiefs in the movie Slapshot, coaching up, the guys, fine with all the shenanigans. One of the great lines I heard a coach say before, back when the Flyers were playing, who was it? I think it was the Washington Capitals. Braden Holtby, he got accosted by Ray Emery, or a goaltender. Had a goaltender fight. It wasn't really a fight. Ray Emery basically just took him down. It was more like a mugging on the street. You know what I'm saying? Holtby wanted no piece of him, shook his head no. And afterwards, Ray Emery even made a comment. He told Ray Emery, just you better defend yourself because it's coming. Even if you don't want to fight, you're not going to swing. I'm still bringing it. And our coach made that comment that he was fine with Ray Emery handling business there. So, yeah, if you got an attitude like that, you can definitely, coach the Philadelphia Flyers. So.
Yeah, you'll fit right in with the Philadelphia culture. AG texting in, he says that Leonidas, and this is what I thought, but with a quick Google search, it did not bring it up. Leonidas is the king of Sparta. 300 is the movie. So that would definitely be a coach who would bring inspirational speeches to the table time and time again.
I thought he said the movie was Victory, though.
All it said was Leonidas-Victory. So I don't. Maybe he was just saying, look, if we got Leonidas, we're going to be bringing a victory home. We'll go to the NFL. I'm going weak sauce with my first two coaches, I guess. Gordon Bombay, obviously, for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think the only other hockey movie that I can remember, well, I guess you got Miracle, and then, what was it, Goon? I think Goon and Goon 2.
Yeah, Goon was, a fighter, in hockey. That was basically the same thing, too, because if you looked at that movie, if you looked at the logo of the Halifax team, it was an H, they had wings on it. It was basically like the Philadelphia Flyers, except they had the Philadelphia Flyers minor league team, the Phantoms. Their colors are orange, purple, and black. The Flyers are orange, black, and white,
Right.
Flip-flopped to where the pro team wore the purple and orange, like the minor league club for the Flyers, the Phantoms, and vice versa. So, I kind of like that movie premise in a little bit because it was kind of paying homage, I think, to the Flyers a little bit in their history of, beating people up.
Yeah, Southport, Scott chiming in. He says Slapshot, but that was the movie that you were talking about.
That's Coach Reg Dunlop. Right. That was the one I was naming, with Paul Newman and the Hanson brothers.
There you go. For the Titans, I was feeling a little nostalgic there, and during, I believe it was before football season, might have been during football season last year, I watched the Little Giants again for the first time in a very long time. So I figured, you know what, the Titans stink anyways. You can't be any worse than what the Little Giants started out as, right? So we're going to go with Danny O'Shea, who is the coach of the Little Giants. And as long as we can get, yeah, exactly. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids,
I go back to, I seen that movie in the theater, man. That's how bad, how old I go back to. That dates myself.
How were you a little disappointed that there was no Eagles in there kind of disrupting the Giants and the Cowboys tension?
What, in that movie?
Yeah.
No, because, I know how, the Cowboys get, the love that they get because of the fan base and all that kind of jazz. And then, they had to go with Little Giants, right, because of the pun on words.
Right.
So I get the reason why they did that and the rivals and stuff like that. But whatever.
Whatever. So, for the Titans, I'm going with Danny O'Shea.
Movies like that, they're all, good and stuff, I guess, for, kids to have a little laugh and whatnot. But, I don't know. I like the more realistic type stuff.
I'm with you, but that's who I'm going with. So who are you going with to take on to coach the Eagles? You've got a few choices to choose from there.
I really, to be honest with you, I don't know, man. Because movie, football coaches, it's a bunch of clowns, dude. I don't want none of the ones from movies. I don't think. The only one I think that was actually probably pretty decent was whatever Pacino's character was in Any Given Sunday.
Yeah.
Even then wasn't even that great,
Tony D.
That's it. Yeah, Tony D. Okay, I was trying to think of his name, but couldn't think of it off the top of my head. I don't know. How about this for Philly? How about instead of doing a football coach? How about Mick Goldmill? That's Rocky's trainer, Mick, the old guy Mick.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Come on, Rock.
I like that.
know?
I think that's kind of what I was intending on doing, is not necessarily sports figures, but just movie characters. And I had no chance at that, but I was hoping that people would, like the Boston Tims with Leonidas, right? That doesn't have any real correlation. But I figured with the sports loving fans that we have and listeners that they would that it would stay kind of sports related.
Right on 10-4. So yeah, I think that'd be mine for the Eagles. Then how about Mick?
All right.
Rocky? Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I was going to go with Tony D for Bama, because we need another disciplinarian kind of to step up and go there. If I were to go with anyone else, it would be, there's so much talent.
If you want a disciplinarian, like a real hard ass of a coach, you should get the guy off of, Varsity Blues, the one that everybody hated. John Voight, his character.
There you go. That would be a good one as well. But we could also, I'll go a guy in a different sport. How about Patches O'Houlihan from dodgeball?
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge.
Yeah, dodgeball. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good one. I guess they didn't think about that, because it's a little bit thinking outside the box.
Yeah. Well, and this next one isn't necessarily thinking outside of the box. It's more so thinking within the box. But Ted Lasso, right? We're about to be getting I believe it's season 4, which will be the final installment of that series. He was a former football coach who went across the pond to coach the other football and take over a team over in England there. And so I said, you know what? Why not move him to another sport? And the Braves kind of, we've got Snick Kerr right now, and he's doing a great job, but maybe we need a guy who's a little happy-go-lucky. So Ted Lasso, coaching the Atlanta Braves, giving us some of the best pep talks that there ever was. You need some positivity around the sport of baseball. And a manager doesn't really coach as much as he just manages people, right?
I guess. I don't know. Like for baseball, for me, I'm having a trouble thinking of a good one for the Phillies, to be honest with you. Nobody's coming off the top of my head, though. I don't have a good answer.
All right. Well, I'll think about it.
Yeah,
you think about that one. And then next, we got Chef Ross saying Grant Taylor from Facing the Giants for his Packers. I like that one. That's a really good one. For the Pacers, I'm going to go with a player coach. I love comedies, man. Semi-pro, we're going Jackie Moon. Will Ferrell going to be the coach of the Indiana Pacers. I think that would be perfect, man. We'll have a player coach, and we'll bring it back to the Bill Russell type days.
Yeah, no doubt. Be 70s afros and elbows.
Yeah,
right?
afros and elbows. Dave D.
Yeah. There you go.
Do you got one for the 76ers off the top of your head?
No.
I mean, someone's got to pick Coach Carter, right? We got to have Coach Carter in there somewhere.
What do you mean, Coach Carter?
Samuel Jackson, Coach Carter.
Oh, no. I don't even remember that. I probably didn't see that. Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, there you go. Let's see if we got, while you're thinking more about the Phillies, you got Ohio Brad. Sheriff Palmer needs to coach the Browns. He coached the Big Green, and he took down the Knights. 850-215-6290. If your favorite team had to be coached by a movie or TV character for an entire season, who would you pick? We're streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Like and share the Facebook feed, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also download the app and register. Just go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store. Type in 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, and take us with you wherever you go. Last night, the Braves, and this worked out well for Caveman Rick, win on an Marcelo Zuna walk-off hit. Chris Sale and Andrew Abbott ended up having a great pitcher's duel. No one scored until the 8th inning. We were talking about it on the Inside Drive today. I didn't know if it was 6th, 7th. I know it was later in the game. But the Reds take the lead in the 8th inning. Andrew Abbott had 8 strikeouts. He gave up 4 hits, no walks in 5 innings. And Chris Sale struck out 10 in 6 2/3 of work. So good stuff there for Chris Sale. But even better by the Braves to come back late in that game. It was Santiago Espinal who had a run-scoring single off Daisbel Hernandez in the top of the 8th, getting Ellie De La Cruz to score there and give them a 1-0 lead. Then Michael Harris II, who's been struggling a little bit. A lot of Braves fans in the fan base right now, not too ecstatic about what he's been doing to this point. Again, this is baseball. Let the cake bake. There's a reason he got the money that he got, and I think that we're okay with Michael Harris. Just let the cake bake a little bit longer. He hit a double in the 9th inning to tie it up, and then they go to extra innings. Marcelo Zuna knocked knocking in Alex Verdugo, and they rally back with their rally caps to get the 2-1 win. That is their third straight win to this point. They're on a 3-game win streak, and the Reds are on a 4-game losing streak. They play tonight at 6:15, and they will wrap the series up 4-game set Thursday evening. Also, cover starting at 6 o'clock for a 6:15 first pitch. You're going to have Grant Holmes going for the Braves tonight. He is 2-2 with an ERA of 4.24, going up against the Reds ace, or maybe he's not the ace, maybe it's Brady Singer, but this guy, Hunter Green, absolute stud, 4-2 on the year, 2.53 ERA.
Brings the heat.
Yeah, he brings the heat. He struck out 12 in his last start against Washington, and he's looking for his third consecutive win. So Grant Holmes going for the Braves, Hunter Green going for the Reds. How about a little NBA playoff basketball? We'll start off with the Warriors, right? They ended up taking game 1, which it's the first time, I think you were saying this yesterday, first time, if the Warriors were to have won, it would be the first time in history that all 4 road teams won the first game, game 1 in the second round, and they did that. They did just that last night, winning 99-88. Road team's now 5-0 because Indiana also won last night. Steph Curry left the game in the second quarter. He's definitely going to be missing game 2. As the day's gone on, it said he's going to miss a couple of games. Now it's saying he will miss at least 3 games with a grade 1 hamstring tear. I was listening to, I believe it was the Cowherd show earlier today, and they were using ChatGPT to find out about how long the recovery for a grade 1 hamstring tear is, and that is 7 to 21 days. So we'll see how it plays out. The Warriors do need Steph Curry, no doubt about that. We'll see how this series plays out, though. Buddy Hield's been on fire. Draymond Green is stepping up, and of course you still have Jimmy Butler over there. The Wolves, the Timberwolves, we talk about the Boston Celtics going 15 of 60 in game 1 against the Knicks. We'll see if they bounce back from that tonight. But the Timberwolves have been shooting 12 of 76 from the arc over the last 2 games, and that is good for the worst mark in NBA playoff history over a 2-game span. But hey, if the Celtics go 15 of 60 again tonight, then they could be in trouble. Lots of other things to talk about. Of course, we got to find some time.
Real quick, you mentioned about the road teams winning.
Yeah.
So if you combine the hockey as well, the only home team that won, Toronto. Everybody else road teams, including the hockey games.
How wild is that? That it's the lone team is Toronto, which. Yeah, they have good home field advantage or home ice advantage. There's no doubt about that. But going up against the defending Cup champions and also going up against a team who just dispatched the Tampa Bay Lightning in 5 games. So very impressive stuff there. Obviously, the Pacers, I say obviously, but the Pacers came back huge last night to beat the Cavaliers 120-119 on Halliburton's game winner. He's 10 of 11 to tie or take the lead in the final 2 minutes of the game this year, which is good for, I believe, best in the association. So great stuff last night from Hallie to go up and get your rebound after the free throw. They had a timeout, and Carlisle's like, I'll just let him play. And that's what happened. And then he put the moves on and took the little step back 3. And it went down, and the Pacers take that 2-0 lead.
After all the fans there were chanting overrated, and then he drills it. So
sometimes you say overrated enough, and it can't be overstated enough that I believe Tyrese Halliburton might be underrated. But people are getting to see a different side of him here in the playoffs, and he has been nothing but clutch. And I love the fact that he is a facilitator first. We've got a whole lot more, but Banji Bomandela. Up next, we're going to be talking with him about what's going on in the world of high school sports here in Bay County. Keep it locked into ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hales Show.
It's all a bunch of crap, man. I mean, that's a bunch of crap.
A different line says, one of unbelievable, amazing, incredible, legendary. Then ... I'm the kind of guy.
You got Wildcat flipping on the bird, and then that number 1.
You don't know what I put up with there, man.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Mostly cloudy the rest of the day with a wind coming out of the south-southwest around 8 miles per hour and 81. Tonight, look for a variety of light sprinkles and mostly clouds with a temperature near 73. Tomorrow, a high around 78 and mostly clouds in the morning and then a possibility of thunderstorms. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Here at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, we're here to help you celebrate life's precious moments. From engagements, Mother's Day and birthdays, to anniversaries, Father's Day, and graduation. Tracy's Fine Jewelry is with you every step of the way with a perfect gift to celebrate any occasion. Celebrating every I do, Happy Mother's Day, anniversary, graduation, and Father's Day, because every occasion is perfect with a little bit of sparkle. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, putting a sparkle on Bay County for over 50 years.
Get ready to connect. ESPN Northwest Florida is thrilled to introduce the newest rock stars to the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce.
Welcome to the Beach Chamber. Lepo Rents, Bobcat of Panama City, Spark U Healing and Yoga, Summer's Landing Assisted Living, and Wahoo's Express Car Wash.
We're here to champion your success and connect you with this amazing community.
Congratulations from ESPN Northwest Florida.
And the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce, reaching Bay County and beyond.
Now is the time for Braves country to cheer a little louder as the 2025 Atlanta Braves start chopping their way back.
Fly ball to deep right, way back and gone! Home run, Ozuna!
Tonight, Sean Murphy, Austin Riley, and the Braves defend their home turf as they take on the Cincinnati Reds, live from Truist Park.
Braves coverage begins at 6 o'clock, first pitch 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Chop on, Braves fans.
That is gone!
Since 2017, your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're back in the doghouse. This doghouse is built by CBC Construction. You can go to cbcconstruction.com. They are looking for some employees, so go there, fill out your application, and drop your resume in cbcconstruction.com. Also, you can give them a call at 850-747-3815 for all your construction needs. We've got Banji Bomadella on the line with us. The call-in question for today: if your favorite team had to be coached by a movie or TV character for an entire season, who would you pick? Banji, give me one team and give me a coach or a movie or TV character you'd like to see coaching your squad. Banji, you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, if you're our call-in question of the day, if your favorite team had to be coached by a movie or TV character for a season, just whatever team it is that you want to use, who would be that movie or TV character? Who would be your coach?
Coach Carter for the Hawks.
Hey, I love it, man. I was saying someone's got to get Coach Carter in here, man. I ended up going with Jackie Moon to coach the Pacers so we could have a little player-coach action.
Well, I mean, your Pacers are somehow up 2-0 on these Cavs, but, you know, I know you're a very happy Pacers fan right now.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, watching last night when they were down, you know, they chipped the lead away, the Cavaliers. I mean, Donovan Mitchell played lights out last night, 48 points for him. But when they were down about 7 with 48 seconds or so to go, I was like, hey, you know what? Losing by 7 after getting game 1, there's no shame in that, especially when you're, you know, playing the number 1 seed in the East. And I mean, Halliburton is just a heck of a performance by him last night. And really the team in general. Halliburton kind of sets the tone a little bit, but they're just such a fun team to watch, especially when it comes to when I think of it defensively. But, yeah, what's been surprising to you so far outside of the Pacers and the Cavs? What's been surprising to you about the NBA playoffs?
Well, I would just say just the comebacks, the amount of comebacks, especially when you think about these teams like a Boston giving up, a 20-point lead to the Knicks. It's like, we think these, you would think of 20 points, maybe 30 points, you would think these leads would stay intact, but nowadays basketball, it's all about momentum, it's all about swings, and I mean, these teams are just getting it done. We could see, imagine seeing a Pacers-Knicks Eastern Conference Finals like that no one would have predicted that, because these two franchises have longed for something like this again.
Yeah, we'd have to bring Reggie Miller out of retirement for that one right there, no doubt about it. Banji, we are in the baseball postseason. By the way, if you're listening right now and you haven't heard of Banji Bomadella, he's your local sports reporter for the Panama City News Herald, does a wonderful job, and we appreciate him sharing some of his time with us. But let's talk a little bit about the baseball postseason going on. Let's start with the heartbreak. Tough night last night for the Bozeman Bucks. Tell us a little bit about what went down in that final game.
Man, so, we'll start with Monday afternoon. Bozeman traveled over there to Trinity Christian Academy. It's the Elite Eight of the Class 2A baseball playoffs, and Bozeman, they got rocked to game one. Game one, they lost 10-0. It was a perfect game from the Trinity Christian pitcher. So game two was yesterday, Tuesday. Bozeman, it's win or go home, and they start out on fire. Zach Flitcraft is on the mound. He's a dog. He's a guy who's retiring the bats early. Bozeman was up. I'll just skip ahead to the part we all know about. Bozeman was up 9-2 at the bottom of the sixth inning, and then that's when everything crumbled. Trinity Christian's bat just became hot. They almost went yard a couple of times, but they got the lead down to 9-8. And Coach Patton brings on Evan Wallace. He's been their relief pitcher. He's been their closer for a lot of these games in this playoff. And 2-run homer, walk-off homer. Trinity Christian comes back, defeats Bozeman 10-9 in an absolute heartbreaker, and Bozeman's eliminated in the region final. It's something that unexpected, because when you think you have such a huge lead, you think, at minimum, we can at least push this to game three, bring this back to Panama City. But unfortunately, Bozeman's season ends in the Elite Eight in Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's tough stuff there. I hate it for Coach Patton and for the Bozeman Bucks. They've been working their tail off, and it just seems year after year they get so close but yet so far away, and I'm sure we'll see them in a familiar position next year, and hopefully they can bring home that hardware. To the better news here for Bay County, Arnold in a thriller last night. Were you at the game?
No, sir, I was not. But I had a photographer, Tyler Osborne over there. But yeah, it was an amazing game. I mean, Arnold. Let's just talk about Arnold as the school. Arnold is 25 years old. They're celebrating, their quarter of a century. Is that right? Quarter of a century mark of the school. And their program made history last year, just making the Elite Eight. They defeated Clay, 2 wins. Defeated Clay, and now they're in the Final Four for the first time in program history. And it just seems right when you think about the talent that they have there. The Eli Blair in Game 1 pitching an absolute masterclass. They win 2-0, and then Cooper Moss. I mean, it's something that you think that this Arnold team, who they lost a lot of games early. They were playing quality competition and losing these games early. But the fact that they've bounced back, they're on a streak right now. This Arnold team is they have the potential, I believe, but especially now that, they have other teams that are in different classifications. I believe Arnold right now is the best team in Class 4A and have a legitimate shot of winning a state title.
And what is next for those Arnold Marlins?
They have to wait to figure out who's the winner of Bishop, Moore, and Mulberry. So that Bishop, Moore, and Mulberry will play their third game because they split the series 1-1. They'll play their third game on Thursday.
Gotcha, man. Great stuff there. And so will they be starting their next series next Monday?
I believe so, but I don't think they do. I think I remember one of the Arnold kids were telling me they don't do series for the Final Four and for the championship game. I may be wrong about that, but It's either the championship game they don't do a 3-game series, or it's the Final Four and the championship game they don't do a 3-game series.
It's like we're going to give you a series all the way to find out who the better team is, and then all of a sudden we're going to single elimination, man. That really amps up the competition for those games. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We're talking with Banji Bombadella. He is the local sports reporter here for Panama City News Herald. How about some teams a little bit to the east of us and one that's a little bit to the west of us, Port St. Joe? What's going on with the Tiger Sharks?
Yeah, they defeated Cottondale, and they themselves are going to be in a Final Four for baseball in the rural class. They will face off against Holmes County. Holmes County, by the way, were state champions last year. They defeated Jay, who was the state champions last year, who defeated Bozeman. So Holmes County is a very formidable team, but Port St. Joe, they've looked great all year. They handled Cottondale, Franklin County. So, yeah, it's going to be special to see a lot of panhandle teams. We can also talk about South Walton, how they swept Sewanee, and there's a lot of panhandle teams in the Final Four for baseball. And somebody has to bring home a state title for baseball.
Yeah, there we go, man. And then South Walton over there to our west, sweeping Sewanee. What is next for the Seahawks?
Yeah, those guys, I believe I think they still also have to wait to see who wins. I don't have the two teams' names off the top of my head, but yeah, Coleman Borthwick, the Auburn committee, a walk-off homer to seal the series sweep against Sewanee last night. It was something special. And yeah, those guys, it seems like it's almost inevitable. It's their second straight year of going to the Final Four, and I think this time, especially now that they're in a different classification, they're in Class 3A, I think they have a good shot at any.
There you go. Softball postseason ready to get underway. Banji, give us some of the matchups, some of the things that we need to know here for softball as we get ready to wrap the season up.
Well, one thing for sure is be ready to go to North Bay Haven and watch those Lady Buccaneers hit, because they have Walton. They host Walton today. They're the number 1 overall seed in Class 3A, and they host Walton. Let me tell you, they played Walton in their district semifinal about April 29th, I believe. They defeated them 10-0. So I'm not saying we might get a repeat of that, but it's more than likely North Bay Haven are going to have a few girls hit home runs tonight. And we have Arnold. They're the number 4 seed in Class 4A. They're traveling over there to Clay, who, the boys, the baseball team just defeated. So, hoping that Bree Clark, who, just hit 1,000 career strikeouts, no other pitcher in Bay County history, baseball or softball, has reached that mark. So she's, cemented herself among the greatest of greats, among the greatest of anything, the pantheon, the Mount Rushmore of anything. Bree Clark stands alone as probably the greatest pitcher that Bay County has ever seen, 1,000 career strikeouts, and they will be on the road at Clay. And then finally, Bozeman they're the number 4 seed in Class 3A. They'll be at number 4, Florida Hot. And now, if Bozeman wins tonight and North Bay Haven wins tonight, they will meet for a rematch of their district title game in round 2, which is something that is it's kind of beautiful to see that Bozeman has another shot to try to knock off their rival.
Yeah, there you go, man. And this is single elimination, right, when we're here in the softball postseason. Yes, man, so it is one and done unless you keep on winning. How about a little tennis action here? Tell us a little bit about the Awantang sisters.
Yeah, I don't want to butcher these names, but I'm going to try.
That's why I didn't even say that. Oh, man. I'm not going to try the first one because I don't have the names in front of me. But the second one I would say is Binet, right?
Binet, yeah. Binet. I'm going to say Mabanta and Binet Awantang. They are Rutherford sisters who just won a Class 2A duo state championship. Now, this is the first ever tennis state championship in Bay County. The sisters, who are 10th graders and 8th graders, by the way, 10th and 8th graders, they won the Class 2A duo state championship. And it's something incredible because Bay County isn't known for tennis. Bay County isn't known as like a tennis powerhouse. But the fact that Rutherford, and this is the second time this semester that Rutherford, or this spring season that Rutherford has made history. Earlier this the year. We talked about Aaliyah Willett winning the weightlifting state championship, and now we have these two sisters winning the tennis duo state championship. It's something incredible to see, and it's like we just love history making in Bay County. Every single season in any different sport, you just see history being made, and it's something that is beautiful.
Yeah, Coach Olds, if you're out there listening, we've got to get those Awantang sisters in the building with us, and I know that they're making the principal proud in Principal Mitchell. We've got a new coaching hire for the Bozeman Bucks football squad. Can you tell us a little bit about Coach Pettis?
Yes, Coach Kevin Pettis will be the new head football coach at Bozeman High School. He was this past season over there at Arnold as a defensive coordinator and the weight room coach. And I will say, Arnold head coach Jason Griffin, he has lauded about how transformational Coach Pettis was in the weight room. He talked about how, the way he did and transformed these kids from being able to, lift little weights to being able to lift 2 times their body weight for some individuals. It's incredible. And not only that, but he's just a transformational leader that has plenty of head coaching experience. I actually looked at his resume, and he's been a head coach at, I think, 7 high schools. So it's incredible. It's going to be good to see, especially following the resignation of Bronson Sweat. Hoping all the best for Coach Sweat. But, I mean, Coach Pettis, it's a slam dunk hire because not only does he know the area being here last year, he also knows the Panhandle greatly, and will be a stern figure not only in the weight room, but on the field and off the field.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things because where did Coach Griffin come from? He came from Bozeman, so he kind of, knows that this guy is worth his salt in Coach Kevin Pettis, and kind of gets to help out his former school a little bit by helping them out with a good coach. And we don't know, or I don't know what all went on with Coach Bronson Sweat, but he's no longer there, and so now Coach Kevin Pettis is going to be taking over for the Bozeman Bucks, and we're getting spring football underway. Is there any news, any notes, anything to be pondering upon as we're getting underway in spring football, Banji?
Well, I mean, there's different storylines. You can start at Mosley where, they went from having the most experienced squad in Bay County to now having a team where they have to replace 4 starters on the offensive line. They're going to have a new quarterback. They had Sammy Friedis last year, who's the all-time passing leader. Now they have J.P. Holston back. So it's going to be interesting to see how Mosley looks with different pieces and different characters. And moving on to Arnold, can they repeat the success that they had last year? Is it an anomaly? How are they going to be able to cultivate that new success? And one way is, with the resignation of Coach Sweat over there at Bozeman, a lot of those players that I've heard on the grapevine is a lot of those players have transferred over there to Arnold. And I also heard that Hayden Gay, who was the starting quarterback at Bozeman, he's now at Arnold looking to compete with Will Carter for the starting quarterback position. Ooh. So it's going to be interesting to see what Bozeman will be able to trot out there, seeing now they got a new head coach, and they're going to have kind of like a mass exodus of players going to different areas. And then also at Bay High, quarterback battle, John DeVos, Davion Morgan. Who's going to be the guy? Coach Brown has said he needs to find the guy who wants to be the quarterback 24/7. So who will be that guy? We'll still figure out in spring. And then we go over to Rutherford, new faces. We have a new offensive coordinator and Coach Matt Canaz, Coach K. Everybody knows he was the head coach over there at North Bay Haven. This past season, he was the offensive coordinator / quarterback coach at Arnold. And now he's the offensive coordinator working with Jalil Reed, who was one of the, debut seasons as a freshman quarterback. He had one of the best, I would argue, because not only was he able to throw the ball efficiently, but he was also able to use his legs, and the sky's the limit with that kid. And then finally, North Bay Haven. What are we going to see after going winless, after being one of the worst teams in Florida via Max Preps ranking? I'm not just saying that just to say that. Via Max Preps, it's going to be interesting to see how Coach Andy Siegel, and I've heard that they have 15 coaches out there, a coach for every single position possible, how they're going to be able to change the culture, change how people perceive this North Bay Haven football team this spring.
Yeah, I definitely got some faith in old Coach Andy Siegel, but really all of the coaches here in Bay County right now, awesome coaches, awesome coaching staffs, and ready for some Bay County football. I know you are, Banji. I know you're ready for some football, but you enjoy your job year-round, don't you?
Yes, sir. I mean, every sport. I love every sport equally, but football always has a special place in my heart.
No doubt. That's like baseball for me. Banji Bombadella, who is your Banji Baller of the Week? Who's Banji's Baller of the Week?
Can I give it to these Rutherford sisters, the Wang Tang sisters, Mabangta and Binay Wang Tang, my Ballers of the Week, making history on the tennis court. You just love to see it. Family affair, it's great.
I love it, man. We'll take a quick look here at the NBA playoffs before we let you go. Knicks got the opening game of the series against the Celtics. Who do you have winning that series? Does Boston, do you think that the Knicks could stop the back-to-back for the Celtics?
I actually think they do. I think it actually goes 7, though, because I think the Celtics will bounce back in Game 2, but I do have faith in the Knicks. It feels weird to even say it, but I do trust the Knicks more than I do trust the Celtics at this point, because Celtics are a high-volume three-point shooting team, but when that shot isn't falling, especially with Porzingis being in and out of the lineup, I would have more faith in the Knicks. And Jalen Brunson is playing out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Out of his mind.
Nuggets and the Thunder. The Nuggets came back and got a huge win against the Thunder in Game 1. Do they hold on and win this series, or do you like OKC and SGA to bounce back?
I actually like the Nuggets because it's almost weird to say now, but I think when Russell Westbrook is playing well, I think the Thunder have no chance. And I think that the Nuggets right now, they're a veteran squad. They know what it takes, and I think they're gonna showcase something, and they're going to make it back to the Western Conference Finals.
What Warriors got their first, they won Game 1, but they lost Steph Curry for at least the next 3 games. Do the Timberwolves come back and win this series, or do the Warriors hold on to their lead and maintain that and win the series?
I think the Timberwolves are going to come back and win this series because I don't think Anthony Edwards can shoot as bad as he did in Game 1. I mean, he started out the game 0 for 10, and then, Steph Curry goes out injured. So I think it's just it's a perfect mix of everything that you would want to possibly happen. We all pray that Steph Curry gets healthy and all that, but I think this is right where the Timberwolves would want it, and now I think they're going to gentleman sweep the Warriors now.
Ooh, there you go. What do you got the Denver series going in?
Ooh. I'd say 6.
All right, Denver in 6, Knicks in 7, Minnesota in 5. So do the Pacers continue your numerical continuation right there and get the legitimate sweep there, or what do you think happens with the Pacers and Cavaliers series?
You know what, David? I actually don't think the Pacers win the series. I think the Cavs win in 7.
I respect that, man. Going into this series, I was like, I really do think Cleveland will win. I'm right there with you. I think Boston wins the series. I've got Denver winning the series as well. I think that one will go 7, though. Minnesota, I think that they'll win that in 6 games in the series. I'm going to stick with the Pacers now because it's easier to do that as a fan, but I agree with you. I still think that there's plenty of room here for the Cavaliers to bounce back, win 2 in Indiana. And if they get Hunter, if they get Garland, if they get Mobley back, they're going to be in just fine shape. But it is tough to come back when you're down 2-0 and will be on the road. But Banji, as always, lots of fun talking with you, and we look forward to catching up with you next Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
That's Banji Bombadella. He is the sports reporter for the Panama City News Herald. Make sure you go subscribe to the News Herald and also check out all of Banji's content. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Little trivia action when we get back.
Now is the time for Braves country to cheer a little louder as the 2025 Atlanta Braves start chopping their way back.
Fly ball to deep right, way back and gone! Home run, Ozuna!
Tonight, Sean Murphy, Austin Riley, and the Braves defend their home turf as they take on the Cincinnati Reds, live from Truist Park.
Braves coverage begins at 6 o'clock, first pitch 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Mostly cloudy the rest of the day with the wind coming out of the south-southwest around 8 miles per hour and 81. Tonight, look for a variety of light sprinkles and mostly clouds with a temperature near 73. Tomorrow, a high around 78 and mostly clouds in the morning, and then a possibility of thunderstorms. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Krispy Kreme Donuts presents Minis for Mom, May 6th through the 11th. Mom will love the 4 new flavors that pack a big message into a mini donut. Perfect for celebrating the light moms bring. They're available May 6th through the 11th. Only at Krispy Kreme Donuts in front of HCA Hospital on 23rd Street, Panama City, and on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Krispy Kreme Donuts since 1937. Krispy Kreme Donuts, where you get them hot.
MLB is incoming, and you won't miss a game. Introducing Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN+, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most major markets. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Just $45 a month with our promo code ESPNNW. Go to ESPNPC.com and click the Scorpion TV logo.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. Eat, sleep, game. This is your sports obsession. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs live and local from the CBC Construction Studios. Go to cbcconstruction.com right now for all your construction needs. You can also give them a call at 850-747-3815. Our call-in question of the day: if your favorite team had to be coached by a movie or TV character for an entire season, who would you pick? Tim Cook from Pittsburgh. He's got her Steeler Tim is what we're going to start calling him. Steelers. He's got the Joker. Now, which Joker are you going with? It's got to be Heath Ledger, right? That's the best Joker of all time. What would you say, Caveman Rick?
It depends on how you're looking at it.
All right. How are we looking at it?
I don't know. Joker to me, I think the best maybe. Man, it's hard to argue Jack Nicholson, man, from Tim Burton's Batman, dude. Because if you're looking at how Batman was originally perceived, the comic, right? I think the Jack Nicholson one is pretty much the best suited one. I mean, the Heath Ledger one's if you like the dark side, then heck,
and it's iconic too. And I think his passing also helped the role of that.
Yeah, definitely. If he didn't die, I think that would have maybe made it a little bit more mundane, but dying while they were making the film and stuff like that definitely, I think, propped it up and gave it a little bit more than it normally would have gotten.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. We're taking more of your calls and texts. If your favorite team had to be coached by a movie or TV character for an entire season, who would you pick? 850-215-6290. You can call in or text, and you can also do that right here because it's time for Traffic Jammin' Trivia. Which manager once disguised himself with a fake mustache and glasses just to sneak back into a game after being ejected? This is pretty much a softball. You know this one, right?
Yeah, I know the answer.
Yeah, this is pretty easy. He disguised himself with a fake mustache and glasses just to sneak back into a game after he was ejected. We'll give you a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock, $25 to not the, but that boot store, and how about a $10 gift certificate to one of our favorite stores in the area, Golf Plus. Greg Popovich had a stroke early on in the NBA season, and he only coached 5 games. And then their now coach was the interim coached 77 games for him. They missed the playoffs. They did get De'Aaron Fox. They got Wembanyama. He was obviously dealing with the deep vein thrombosis there, the blood clot issue. He should be back by next year, and who knows what other moves the Spurs will make, because now Greg Popovich goes from coach to, as he wants to be known, El Jefe. He had a shirt in his first public appearance that said El Jefe. And I was reading an article the other day on 4 lessons on leadership from Greg Popovich. But before that, I want to play this clip here from DeMar DeRozan talking. This is via the Spurs reporter on the podcast called the 25-10 Show. Caveman, roll that clip.
I've never told nobody this story. My pop had passed when I was playing in San Antonio. I had called the GM yo, bro, I'm about to fly home tonight. I'm about to try to get a plane out of here. I gotta get home. My pops just passed, right? So I called the GM. I didn't want nobody to know. I didn't want it to be all in the media. Bro, literally, 90 seconds later, I hear a knock at the door. Bro, it's Pop. Bro, Pop sat in the room with me and cried with me for about 2 hours.
That's real.
Like, you know what I mean? He's like, man, I'm not leaving until you leave. And that just showed, like, the person who he was. You know what I mean? Like,
so he took the coach out of basketball.
Bro,
I'm your guy now, right?
Man, he sat there and cried with me, bro. And what's crazy? He'll be mad at me telling that story because he never want nobody. He don't want credit, bro.
Nah,
he never want credit.
That's just awesome stuff right there from DeMar DeRozan talking with the guys on the 2510 show, and they just. All of the players who were touched by Greg Popovich, who, were lucky enough, blessed enough to be coached by him, came out better people because of that. And, it's always nice to be under a coach or be under a manager or be under a boss or whatever it may be, who cares about, what's going on the field, but also what goes on off of the field, or in this case, the court. So there was an article on The Athletic, and I didn't come up with any of this. This is just purely from The Athletic, 4 lessons on leadership from Greg Popovich. The first one is notice and reward the little things. And I think just the way that I look at this isn't being a manager in some employee type setting. It's more or less from the coaching aspect of it. And with coaching flag football or coaching basketball, which I haven't been able to coach baseball yet, but eventually that's going to come. And when these young men or these young ladies are doing the right things, it's not about making the greatest play or whatever. It's just as simple as being in practice. And I like the way that you attack that, or I like the way that you didn't cut that corner, take a shortcut there, but went around the cone that you were supposed to, because it's always about the little things. When you do the little things right, you'll do the big things right on at a much higher rate.
Yeah, that's important because it makes it easier to take criticism later.
Yeah.
If you're getting the accolades when you're doing the right stuff, when somebody wants to talk to you about what you're not doing right, I think you hear it a little bit more when you know that the only time they're talking to you isn't just to tell you did something wrong. You know what I mean? Like a boss, if he's only coming to you to tell you when you screwed up and not when you're doing good stuff, then when you get that criticism, you're like, oh, man, here we go again,
Yeah.
But when you get that praise at times, it definitely helps.
Number 2, don't be afraid of the road less traveled. And that's... we're in a generation now where we can see what everyone is doing all the time if they so choose to post it. And a lot of people want to follow that, not trying to discover their own journey or cut out their own path. I mean, you can go as simple to Abdul Carter wanting to wear Lawrence Taylor or Phil Simms' jersey number, right? And what did LT say back? Hey, man, like, create your own legacy. Get your own number and do your own. You're going to do big things, but do them in your own number, And I kind of like that. Don't be afraid of the road less traveled just because everyone else. What did our parents used to tell us all the time? Well, if all your friends jumped off a bridge, would you as well? And sometimes it's hard to do that because it's easier to be a follower than it is to be a leader. So don't be afraid of the road less traveled is number 2. He used the example, one of his buddies that he went to school with, and they played intramural basketball together. One day they're sitting there talking about marriage because they were always chasing girls together. And he said, well, don't get married just yet. Go interview a couple that just got married. Go interview a couple who's been married for 5 years. Go interview a couple who's been married for 10 to 15 years. And then a couple who's been married for 25. Gain a different perspective. Try to see things from different views. And I think that's a huge thing that I'm not going to say people are lacking, but for me, I try to see things the way that other people see it. Is it possible? Not truly. It's not. You can't really see it how they see it. You get 2 people going to have the same exact problem, and how they deal with that problem and the ramifications that come away from that problem and their viewpoints are going to be totally different, even if the situations are identical. Number 3 is hold people accountable and push them to their personal best. Accountability is a huge thing. I've, been on the right and the wrong sides of that. But at the end of the day, as human beings, no matter what it is that we did, however it was that we messed up, we have to take accountability for it, and we have to keep on pushing. And that's the same way when you're the person who has to hold the people accountable. if you're the manager, if you're the coach, hold them accountable and then push them to their personal best, which if you love people, you're going to do that, which takes us to our fourth lesson from Greg Popovich, and this is pinned up by The Athletic. Love and trust your people. And love and trust kind of go hand in hand. Love, I mean, biblically speaking, is the greatest of all of the emotions, if you will. But love and trust your people. And it's hard to do things without trusting your people, because if not, if someone doesn't manage the same style or coach the same style as you, then you end up bumping heads. Sometimes you just got to trust people to do the things their way, but it still gets done in the way that the whole team can agree with.
Yeah, no doubt. I can't disagree with any of that stuff.
All right, well, there you go. Getting ready for hour number 2. We're going to play a little Would You Rather here on a Wednesday. Taking your calls and texts this afternoon. If your favorite team had to be coached by a movie or TV character for an entire season, who would you pick? Text that into 850-215-6290. And also, we've got our trivia question, which is, which manager once disguised himself with a fake mustache and glasses just to sneak back into a game after being ejected? We'll be right back with hour number 2.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Mostly cloudy the rest of the day with a wind coming out of the south-southwest around 8 miles per hour and 81. Tonight, look for a variety of light sprinkles and mostly clouds with a temperature near 73. Tomorrow, a high around 78 and mostly clouds in the morning, and then a possibility of thunderstorms. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive the new 2025 Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The 2025 Kia SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorrento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in the luxury of a 2025 Kia K5 sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Performance, power, and design built for you. Spark inspiration in the all-electric 2025 EV9. It's a modern masterpiece, fast charging, rugged, and roomy. Bill Bird Kia is the original home for the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Now is the time for Braves country to cheer a little louder as the 2025 Atlanta Braves start chopping their way back.
Fly ball to deep right, way back and gone! Home run, Ozuna!
Tonight, Sean Murphy, Austin Riley, and the Braves defend their home turf as they take on the Cincinnati Reds, live from Truist Park.
Braves coverage begins at 6 o'clock. First pitch, 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. From the diamond to the end zone, from the studio to the sideline, we're the destination for sports on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
It is hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. The Atlanta Braves taking on the Cincinnati Reds tonight. The coverage will get underway after our show here at 6 o'clock for a 6:15 first pitch. Grant Holmes on the bump for the Braves going up against Hunter Green. Atlanta Braves baseball on ESPN Northwest Florida, brought to you locally by Bill Bird Kia, PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hewitt Tire and Auto, and Hometown Towing. Want to remind you guys, well, I guess it wouldn't necessarily be reminding unless you were listening to the Inside Drive, but we've got a young man, Braxton Abbott, captain table tonight at 4. They open up at 4 p.m. A portion of the proceeds tonight, if you go there and eat, will go to help out Braxton Abbott. He's a bright young player on the 11U Hurricanes baseball team. He's been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. His family has been traveling to Shands Hospital in Gainesville for treatment. They face emotional and financial challenges. A portion of proceeds from this event tonight will support the family, and additional donations are welcomed via Venmo. The Venmo is MARIAN-Mercer, MERCER-1. Every contribution helps and is truly appreciated. And the coach, Jimmy Horn, which is how I found out about this, he also battled the same exact cancer. So thoughts and prayers first and foremost with the family. But if you can get out there to the captain's table tonight, it is open now, and a portion of your proceeds will go to help Braxton Abbott in his battle with cancer. I don't know exactly how old he is. He's either 10 or 11 because it's 11U, and it's just a absolutely sad situation. Again, as I've mentioned previously on this show, I didn't have people close with me who were battling cancer until the Ryan Mulvey situation. And since then, it's been my cousin. It's been his wife. It's been, the list goes on and on. We go to people here that work at ESPN Northwest Florida and what they're dealing with. And I'm not just talking about Ryan Mulvey. So it's, as Ryan said earlier today on the Inside Drive, F cancer, and go out there and help Braxton Abbott this evening. It's a terrible disease with cures out there, but even brain cancer. Ryan shared a graphic with me the other day. I think it's less than 1 out of every 10 people diagnosed with brain cancer that live beyond 5 years. And when you see a graphic like that, because he sent it to me, when you see a graphic like that, and it's not me, the one who's physically dealing with this, and you're just, I can't even put into words what he's feeling looking at that, because I'm just basically face palming over and over again and just putting out sounds that don't make sense. So thoughts and prayers again with really everyone, and maybe one day we can come to a spot where we will have a cure for cancer. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick and our favorite guest of the week, Morgan Hilliard, in the building with us. Morgan, what's going on? Oh, we're going to have to turn you up, and then we'll let you go. Morgan, how are you doing this afternoon?
Hi, how are you guys? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're doing wonderful. You got your pink on, so we are rocking and rolling. I noticed, I don't know what day it was, but I tuned in for a second, and someone was like, "You're not wearing pink." I'm like, "Bro, it's not Wednesday. That's a Wednesday thing, man."
I know. You'd think they'd have it down by now.
Come on. Maybe we just need to have you come in on other days not wearing pink so that they'll get a glimpse of that.
Every time I do a different day that isn't a Wednesday, everyone always asks why I'm not wearing pink.
Right.
And it's always the same because it's not Wednesday.
It's not
Wednesday's
Wednesday.
a big day.
And
pink.
why is it? Why is it that you wear pink on Wednesdays?
On Wednesdays we wear pink because Mean Girls said so.
Mean Girls said so. So there you have it. It is Wednesday, so we're going to do a little Would You Rather. We don't have 4 questions for Fano because Fano's on the road. He could, you know what, Caveman Rick? He could have at least offered, like, hey, if you want to call me while I'm on the road, we could do the 4 questions for Fano. But no, what did I have to do after working so hard to come up with 4.5 good questions for him? I just had to backspace and get rid of all of that little Control-Z action. Would you rather have to wear a mascot costume every time you watch a game, or scream, "Let's go!" every 5 minutes, no matter the sport? Morgan, let's start with you.
I'm taking the mascot costume.
Really?
I don't really like to talk that much when I watch sports. I
could have fooled me.
I really don't like to talk that much. I'm down to comment on what's happening,
right,
very briefly, but I don't want to have to say "let's go."
Is that considered talking though, or if you're just saying the same thing over and over again?
That one guy who always screams after a play that they don't agree with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caveman, what about you? You wearing the mascot costume, or are you saying "let's go" every 5 minutes, no matter the sport?
Probably the mascot costume. I got a couple good ones on my my side, my squad. Philly fanatic, gritty. So if I can wear one of those, definitely they cause some shenanigans and stuff like that too. It can do that. Besides, too, screaming out "Let's go" every 5 minutes. You sound like Tom Brady, dude. I do not want to do that. I do not want to sound like that guy.
I guess I'll sound like Tom Brady. I mean, I would love to sit there and go watch, some cricket or something, and then just have to scream "Let's go" every 5 minutes and not even know what in the world is going on. I would be the "Let's go" because I feel like I'm already that anyways, as I'm yelling something every 5 minutes, especially depending on the team that I'm watching. It could be good or it could be a bad "Let's go." All right, this one's for all my Roll Tide brothers out there. Would you rather call every play wrong on a live broadcast or be caught on the kiss cam with your cousin, Caveman Rick?
Oh, good Lord, man. Probably. Jeez, man. You
gotta love the internet, brother.
Yeah, call them wrong. Call the plays wrong. You don't want to be caught up on there with your cousin, man. You can't live that down. If you get everything wrong, I mean, you just had a bad day.
I mean, I've had some bad days up there in the booth, but I've never called every play wrong. Like, oh, it's a run play. He throws it 30 yards down the field. All right, for me, man, I'm just going to put on for my Roll Tide brothers. And who's my favorite cousin? Man, I should not even have said that out loud. I don't really have a favorite cousin. I go through. What do you mean you're shook? Because I have a favorite cousin?
Shooketh.
I love them all. I love them all
the
the same.
stand you're going to take. That's why.
I'm looking for a male cousin too at the same time. I'm trying to go above and beyond for my Roll Tide friends. I couldn't get up in the booth and call everything wrong. I'd rather kiss a cousin just for the sake of people laughing or being weirded out and me being like, I don't really care if you're weirded out. No tongue action. We're talking like a little pet kiss.
Ew, I can't even comprehend this. My bad.
I bet you liked seeing guys kiss. I know it's the fighting type.
When they're fighting.
Yeah.
I'm going to go call every play wrong because you can come back from that. I don't think you can. Once you're like cemented with a cousin kisser, like you can't really shake that nickname.
Well, yeah, and as soon as you become an Alabama fan, we're all cousin kissers.
Well, I mean, that's your type.
Yeah.
I'll just stick to like people hating us because we have no championship trophies.
Yeah, and act like you do.
I'll take that.
I'd rather kiss my cousin than be a Texas A&M fan.
I don't
My
speak
goodness.
broke.
Speak broke.
Money printer go brr.
Hey, yeah, it goes brr, and then the season goes brr too because y'all just don't be scoring enough.
Yeah.
Would you rather? Well, and we'll see how baseball goes though, right? Definitely a nice turnaround for the Aggies compared to what the season started, right?
Oh yeah, for
All
sure.
right.
More at 520.
More at 520. Would you rather be a legendary coach or a Hall of Fame player? Morgan.
I think I'm going to take legendary coach. Honestly, I feel like, you can be a Hall of Famer, but your name kind of gets forgotten and you kind of just go into an archive. When you're one of those greats, people are going to talk about you forever. Best example, your coach, Nick Saban.
Yeah, that's a great point. Caveman.
I think it depends on when I can kind of take this. Like, if I could be a younger, legendary coach and say still in my 30s or 40s, then heck yeah. But I don't want to be like this crusty-ass old guy that's like 80 years old and gets this accolade of being like a legendary coach. Because then, like, what is that going to get you in life? Like, you've already had your life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to exploit the the stuff that I can get and do with it. You know what I mean?
So you want to be Sean McVay
right.
and not Bill Belichick. Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
well, so I can take the money, the notoriety, be able to do things with it, and take advantage of the situation. You know what I mean?
Fair.
So
Bill
if I can do
Belichick
that,
seems to
then,
be taking advantage of the situations that he's built for himself.
I don't want to get into like a whole bunch of semantics with that stuff, but like you don't know like what's going on in his personal life, and a lot of that could just be show. You know what I mean?
Show cause order, yeah. No doubt about that. My original answer, and I'm just going to stick with it, legendary coach rather than Hall of Fame player. Not because I want to be remembered, though, but if I'm a legendary coach, much like Greg Popovich, where it's just like the amount of lives that you were able to touch. Because to be a good coach, you got to know people, and you got to know how to deal with people. And that's a side of life that I thoroughly enjoy, just listening to people and helping out however I can. And so I'd rather be a legendary coach. You take legendary away from it. I'd rather now at this stage of life that I'm at, which obviously athleticism is way down compared to what it was, but I'd rather be a coach than a player, being known or not. let's go scroll down a little bit, which I'm not actually scrolling. I'm looking at a piece of paper here. Would you rather swap noses with a toucan or feet with a duck?
What number is this?
This is down at 13.
I'd rather switch feet with a duck. You can cover your feet up. It's
My nose is already bigger than a daggone toucan.
It's easier to do that than the toucan nose. So I mean, yeah, and then that'd help you swim, I guess. Pedal around in the water. What's the?
It's a free pedal boat,
what's
bro.
The toucan nose going to get you?
Yeah,
maybe
the same thing.
Ad.
I don't know.
For a cereal commercial,
internet
Toucan
these things.
Sam, follow my nose. Toucan Sam, Fruit Loops.
I don't know. I mean, it would probably be a little bit more expensive for. Wait, if you had feet like a duck, you wouldn't even need shoes.
Yeah.
Right? They're walking around barefoot all the time.
Hang on. Who says that you have actual duck feet, or if your feet are like a duck, do you just have webbing? What's the specifics?
Feet with
webbing?
With the duck.
You know what? I'm gonna go duck feet.
Yeah, duck feet too.
Yeah, duck. Like I said, duck feet. And if you wanted to cover them up, you can cover them up pretty easy.
Which I don't want to cover them up. I want to.
I don't know. People look at you look at you, freak.
I don't know. There's some real weird feet lovers out there. You could probably sell some feet.
My OnlyFans would go through the roof.
Probably sell some feet pics.
Would you rather eat a hot dog with ice cream toppings or a milkshake made from mashed potatoes?
Oh, milkshake mashed potatoes.
Yeah, me too.
Really,
Me
honestly.
too. Yeah, a milkshake with mashed
hot dog
potatoes.
that's ice cream. It's kind of gross, dude.
Man.
Unless does bacon jam count as an ice cream topping?
Yeah, for sure.
Ice cream topping?
This question really makes me think of one of my mutuals on Twitter. He actually sent a photo of a hot dog with some really crazy toppings today.
A hot dog with crazy toppings?
Yeah, it's
I went to a place the other day.
Him-coated.
I went to a Kim-coated?
Him-coated.
Oh, him-coated. Okay. What does that mean? Don't. All right, we're moving on. There was a place I went to eat the other day, and they had this thing called the Junkyard Dog. I'm not going to say the name of the establishment, but it was pretty daggone good. You had to use a fork and a knife to eat it because there was just so much stuff on top of it. You couldn't really hold it together. Let's see. Would you rather? We'll go to number 9. Would you rather coach your school for one game without any experience or call the game live on TV? Also, no prep.
I'm glad you went to this one. I really like this one. And I'm going to go ahead and interject and go first. I'm going to go call the game live on no prep because that I could make up on the fly and it would be okay because you're really just watching what's happening in front of you. Coaching the game, I might get some things thrown at me. I'm going to go call the game live.
That's a great point right there. Caveman?
It's kind of a tough one. Yeah, probably call the game live. Although coaching, though, if you got a good, say it's football,
right?
You got some good coordinators. You can kind of fudge it up a little bit, pretend like you know what you're doing, be CEO, let the other guys do their stuff, and then hopefully they win, and then you get all the accolades because you're the winning head coach.
Well, I've never called a game live on TV, but on the radio, there has been a few instances where because of the team that we were playing against not really having any statistics posted on Max Preps and their jersey numbers were all kind of discombobulated, that for the away team or for the team we were playing against, there really wasn't any prep that we could do. So I've kind of done that before to a very small extent. Again, not on TV. But I think I'd rather coach Alabama for one game. But let it be like Western Carolina or something like that. Like, let me play, and then that way we could possibly get a win, and I'd be 1-0, and I'd say, Nick Saban, my winning percentage is a little bit better than yours. Is there a number on here that you're looking at? How about we go with number 15?
Okay.
This is you get 3 options here, right? And we're gonna have a trivia question about this in the future. Dr. Pepper, OG Red Bull, or Dunkin' iced coffee. Now, this is important because these are the top 3 drinks in the palette of Morgan Hilliard. So that will be a trivia question in the future. She likes Dr. Pepper, Red Bull, OG, Dunkin' iced coffee. You can drop those off at Period. No, I'm just...
What time of day is it?
It's 5:15.
No, I mean in the scenario.
The scenario is 5:15.
Okay, well, all of these are good at any time of day.
Any time of the day?
Yeah,
You crack open
actually,
Red Bulls at like
I
10:30
would.
at night?
Honestly, what am
Yeah.
I doing? I'm probably going to the bar. I'm cracking open a Red Bull.
Okay. There you
or vodka Red Bull. You never know. Sorry, my bad. Off topic. I'm going to go with Dr. Pepper still.
Dr. Pepper? I'm gonna go Dr. Pepper. I'm gonna go Dunkin' iced coffee as I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper right now. But I like an iced coffee every now and again, but I like the hot coffee a little bit better. You know, like I like the extra. I think I'd tell them extra though. Extra sugar and creamer.
In your iced coffee?
Well,
I do
no,
that too.
I like the hot coffee better, but I get the
okay,
iced
word,
coffee too.
word.
Yeah, the sugar doesn't dissolve
Here's
is the word.
trick.
Okay.
You got to get liquid sugar instead. It's literally the same thing. It's just not in like
it's called
crystallized-
simple syrup.
Yeah,
Simple syrup.
literally.
Okay.
Liquid sugar.
Gotcha.
That's how you get around that. Caveman Rick?
I would do Red Bull.
Okay.
I'm not
Bull, yeah.
big on Dr. Pepper and like iced coffee. I'd rather drink regular coffee, like hot coffee or warm, you know.
All right.
I like number 4.
Number 4?
Yeah.
Would you rather throw a perfect game, which I believe has been done 24 times in Major League Baseball history, or hit 4 home runs in a single game, which has been done 19 times in Major League Baseball history? Caveman Rick?
You said so the 4 home runs has been done fewer times, correct? I would probably want to do that then and have the notoriety of doing something that fewer people have, especially when it's something like that where like 19 people have done that. More people have supposedly walked on the moon. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. I keep getting spam calls. Doesn't everyone know I'm on the radio right now? Quit calling me. I think I would go throw a perfect game. There's a lot of notoriety, and that looks really, really good on your history and background. And I like the nostalgia of that. I'm going to go throw a perfect game.
That's a lot of work too, man.
Yeah.
Like the home runs is 4 swings, dude. Boom, 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 boom.
I know, but I feel like, a perfect game, that's a lot of playing time. You could hit, Caveman Rick, you could hit your home run at any point. You could even hit him on your next at bat if they make it all the way around that time, that many times. I'm going to go perfect game.
I think I'm right there with you with the perfect game, just because it does. I mean, just because 4 home runs has been done less than what perfect games have been thrown, I still think it's harder to do something for a whole entire game. Plus, you still have to somewhat rely on your defense. Yeah, if they make an error, that's not going to count as a hit. But you still have to rely on your defense. You still got to not walk anybody. And so...
And you got to make sure you're keeping your pitches very well maintained. You're inside the zone every single throw. You've got to be very, very locked in for that. I'm going to go perfect game still.
And not run out of gas, too.
Yeah.
That's another huge point there. But still, I mean, hitting 4 home runs or a perfect game, if you could do either one of those, that's pretty awesome. Would you rather have to attend your next job interview shirtless but holding a live python, or wearing a cape made of Publix bags?
What question is this?
This is number 16 at the bottom. I've got one more after this one. Would you rather
What
have
kind
to
of job are you looking for? How about that?
I was about to say, if I'm looking to become the next Steve Irwin, then I'm showing up shirtless, holding a live python. But if I'm interviewing
like
to be
wrestling.
the next Superman or something like that, then I'm coming in for wrestling. I mean, wrestling, you can come in either way, right? I think if I had to choose one of the others, it would be wearing a cape made of Publix bags. I think that at least I might get a sympathy higher in that one.
I feel like they could argue maybe you might have something wrong with you if you show up with the Publix bags.
If you show up with a
Yeah,
snake.
either way, man, they're gonna be like, you're gonna get like special treatment because they're gonna say you're special.
Yeah, you'll literally be special. But I think if I were to show up shirtless holding a live python, that's a for sure hire, regardless of what I'm interviewing for.
Yeah, probably so.
So I think that's a for sure hire. So I think I'm gonna snakes.
Unless it was like kindergarten teacher.
Yeah,
but could you? That one might be
I
problematic.
don't know about the snake part. All of it is really, really out there. But if I'm interviewing to be the next I don't even know what I'd be interviewing for, but whatever it is, it's got to be pretty damn good. I'm going live Python.
Oh, Jimmy Hard chiming in on YouTube. He says Bud Kilmer when we're talking about Varsity Blues.
That's the name of the coach.
The coach, yeah.
John Voight's character.
All right, last one, just because I remember these headlines. The last three, or this one right here, is from actual Florida Man headlines. Would you rather be the Florida man who tried to rob a store with an alligator, or the one who tried to trade a live gator for beer at a convenience store? Would you rather be the Florida man who tried to rob a store with an alligator?
So did the gator thing, did it happen here in Florida with trying to buy the beer with the gator?
Both of these things happen in Florida.
Okay, because I was going to say, if you weren't in Florida and you were someplace where gators aren't too prevalent, that might actually get you something. You know
I think that would get you more the beer.
A gator, but hey, yeah, man. But here, gators are they're like a nuisance. You know what I'm saying? They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's gator. No, I'll just keep my beer, dude. You know.
I think I'm gonna go rob a store
with an alligator.
Yeah.
How would that court? Does the alligator stay in the evidence room at that point, or?
I think what I've done is I've trained it like a dog, on command, and so I snap my fingers and it snaps at you.
Yeah.
At this point, I think I've thought this really well out. I might be on meth. I'm not sure. But in my head, it makes sense.
I think. Oh man. Trying to rob a store with an alligator, you better have him trained. Otherwise, what do you do? Hey, watch out! He'll get you. He'll get you. Now, give me that bag of money.
I think I'll try to buy a beer with a gator. I'll try to trick him into saying it's a handbag or a belt that actually looks like a gator, and try to pass it off and see if I can find somebody that dumb.
These are gator boots. You just put your foot right here in this hole, and then I'll have to go get you another one as well. I'm right there with you, K-Man. I would I would try to trade the live gator for some beer at a convenience store. Exactly. We got to get back to our roots. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. That was Would You Rather Wednesday. Coming up next, Mo's going to be talking some college baseball and much more with us.
Now is the time for Braves country to cheer a little louder as the 2025 Atlanta Braves start chopping their way back.
Fly ball to deep right, way back and gone. Home run, Ozuna.
Tonight, Sean Murphy, Austin Riley, and the Braves defend their home turf as they take on the Cincinnati Reds, live from Truist Park.
Braves coverage begins at 6 o'clock. First pitch, 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Wednesday. For tonight, mostly clouds and very light showers and a low of 73 with a light breeze coming out of the south at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, a chance of thunderstorms and very light rain with temps around 78. In the afternoon and evening, a variety of mostly clouds and a possibility of thunderstorms and a temperature near 78. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Introducing Water Clear Pools, the home of the 10-week pool guarantee. We guarantee custom pool completion from permit to your first swim in 10 weeks or less. Water Clear Pools is the premier pool builder for the Margaritaville development on Highway 79. Free quotes and custom pools anywhere in Northwest Florida. Call now, 850-835-4177, or see our website, waterclearpool.com. Licensed and insured. License number CPC 1459723.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. Doing what other stations can't. The Afternoon Underdogs is live and local. 850-215-6290.
When you've completed dialing, listen for the ringing signal.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. The Braves are back and they're playing great. Don't miss the next game on 104.3 and 101.9 ESPN Northwest Florida. Tonight, the Braves are underway at 6:15 for their first pitch. Cover starts right here at 6 o'clock after the Afternoon Underdogs. Going to be Hunter Green going for the Reds, going up against Grant Holmes for the Braves. Atlanta Braves baseball on ESPN Northwest Florida, brought to you locally by Best Way Portable Buildings, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Mid-South Lumber, and Brock Pest Control. I'm David Hayes along with K-Man Rick and Morgan Hilliard, and this is Mo's Notes from college baseball and from the Burnerverse. What do you got for us this afternoon?
Okay, first of all, I just noticed that my nails matched my jacket. Sorry. Had a little...
Swag-tastic.
a little off-the-charts moment. My bad. Okay, so... First, let's talk my favorite subject.
Let's do it.
Texas A&M.
Oh,
I
going
know.
back to Gators or something.
So hurted. So hurted. Aggies took on number 2 LSU over the weekend, and it really needs to be studied, like A&M versus a number 2 ranked team, because each time we find a way to pull out the win, and I couldn't be happier with the boys. They're doing fantastic, and everything I love to see. You should all know that Caden Sorrell is, in fact, that guy. He's just that guy, pal. You don't want to mess with him.
There goes that man, mama.
He's so baby girl, for real.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Got Pookie and baby girl playing on the same team. Let's go.
Kings. Sorry, I got excited. Okay, anyways, it really was like a pitching duel, but one thing I really would like us to do better on and kind of capitalize more on and would help us out in so many scenarios is if we could stop stranding runners in scoring position. The risk is hurting us so bad. There's a lot of games that we should win and could win and take a sweep if we stop stranding runners. I mean, it's almost painful at this point, but you know what? It is what it is. They still pulled out the win, and I accurately predicted this. Friday, I didn't get to see you, but I still came in studio. Friday, the first thing I thought of Friday, and I shared it with a few friends, is that A&M and LSU would split the Friday-Saturday series and then take the win on Sunday. However, even though we played a doubleheader, your girl was right. I might know ball. I just don't want you to
ball
know
nowhere.
That. I might know ball. So that's all for that. All right. Let's do picks for the weekend.
All right. You keeping track of them over there?
I sure am, actually.
All right. Good stuff.
So, Caveman Rick, I hope you're listening because we have no AG to chime in today.
Okay.
Your first game of the weekend is going to be number 11 Vandy versus number 15 Tennessee.
Number 11 Vandy versus number 15 Tennessee. Tennessee keeps on sliding. Did they have another bad weekend?
They had another bad weekend. They barely hung on. I think they came out 2-3 overall, but they still slid just a little bit, and it wasn't looking good for them in the beginning of like 2 of their games.
All right. Well, with that being said, I mean, that's a big game for Vanderbilt.
But they just took you guys on over the weekend, and they, even though they secured 1 over Alabama the weekend before, they put the hurting on Georgia and a few other teams, and Vandy's slowly climbing up the charts. I mean, they're doing everything they can right.
Which isn't necessarily a surprise for Vanderbilt baseball, right? It's not as surprising as what their season was this last year in college football. I'm going to take Tennessee, though, because I think they need this series a little bit more. So I'll take number 15 and the Volunteers, as much as that pains me to say.
Caveman Rick.
Yeah, since we're doing baseball here, I will take Vanderbilt over Tennessee.
All right. I'm also going to take Vandy with you.
All right. There we go. So I'm lone wolfing it over here.
You are lone wolfing it. That's
it.
such a shock. Your next game.
Is that a shock? Because I feel like I've been different on you guys. Definitely in that first and second week, I believe.
Not that you're splitting from us. The fact that you're taking Tennessee, that's what shocks me.
Gotcha,
that's very shocking to me.
Ugh. I mean, I
know that hurt. Well, that one hurt.
Bit of vomit, so.
I think Brian said the same thing last Thursday. Whenever we did picks on Thursday, he was like, "I don't want to pick this team, but I'm going to."
Yeah.
I'm forcing your hand. Doesn't matter. All right. Your next game is going to be number 16 NC State versus number 4 UNC.
Oh man, this one is tough. I'm going to go with the higher ranked team here, go with what I would consider to be the favorite. North Carolina State's been playing some good ball, or have they been backsliding a little bit?
No, they've been playing great ball. They've been very consistent, and I haven't really seen them slide much, any, if at all. I have ratios if it helps, by the way.
Okay. Wait, ratios?
Yeah, win-loss.
Oh, yeah, they're 30 and 50. I got it pulled up over here.
Okay.
I'm going to go with North Carolina in this series, yeah.
I'm going to take the Wolfpack. Go with the Underdogs. Be a lone wolf, maybe.
Hey, there you go. Take the over on the Underdogs.
I'm also going to take North Carolina.
North Carolina?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to also take something about that powder blue.
Oh,
you got it on right now.
Yeah.
It do it right.
It do it right.
You know, we were supposed to play Houston last night, and they were going to, break out these brand new powder blue jerseys with the red, and I was so sad our game got canceled just because those jerseys were sick. Super Bowl mentioned, but they probably would have beat us from the aura alone.
Hey,
honestly.
the aura alone. So
good.
did it get canceled or postponed or
Canceled.
Yeah,
It
because
was
it's a
weather.
midweek game.
No, it was weather. It was pretty bad. Midweek, we were going to travel to them, but I don't think we even had time to leave. I mean, it rained so hard.
So y'all were going to be playing in
Houston.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, they had some really sick jerseys.
Yeah,
I'll show you after the show.
Right. Well, I haven't seen the baseball jerseys, but they wear them in football, and they're kind of emblematic of the Houston Oilers days. So,
Yes, they were.
I think they got hit with a cease and desist for that, but
You know what?
whatever. I think they should be allowed to wear them.
I think they were pretty drippy.
Yeah.
If you can hear me, ice.
There you go. What's our next game?
Number 7, Arkansas versus number 3, LSU. And this is a fantastic matchup, in my opinion. You just had Arkansas, who is ranked much lower than they are now, sweep number 1, Texas, in Fayetteville over the weekend. And then you have LSU, who was number 2 and lost 1 game to my babies. So, I mean, it's so hard. This one's a really hard one to pick.
It really is. I'm gonna use so Bree, I think Bree Ellis is her name. She had a walk-off grand slam in the SEC tournament today. I forgot who they beat, but so I've reached out to one of our friends, Sydney Fields, who covers college softball. So she's going to join us on the show tomorrow afternoon. She's a big Arkansas fan. So with that, I'm just gonna. This is my deductive reasoning here. Going Arkansas to take the series, and especially after the weekend that they had last weekend.
Okay. Rick?
Who was it again? I'm sorry.
Oh, you have number 7, Arkansas versus number 3, LSU, and they're in Baton Rouge.
LSU then at home.
Yeah,
LSU.
That's going to help them a little bit.
I think you've got a really pissed off LSU, but you know what? LSU, get ready to meet the Alloy brothers. I'm taking Arkansas.
All right, let's go Razorbacks, baby. All right.
Call the pigs, call the hogs, whatever that is. Last one. 24 Ole Miss versus an unranked Mississippi State, who also doesn't have a head coach.
Yeah, they don't. And I've got a question for you on that a little bit later. I'm going to go Georgia, though.
Where's Georgia?
Wait, who'd you say? Oh, no, Ole Miss versus Mississippi State.
Yes.
Where's Ole Miss ranked at right now?
24.
You know why I said Georgia right there, right? Yeah, no, because of what we were just talking about. Give me Ole Miss, though. Give me Ole Miss. I know Mississippi State would love to play spoiler, but I'll take the Rebs.
Okay. Rick?
I'm sorry again. What was it going?
Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. Go with Brian's guys.
Hey, there we go.
Really? Interesting.
Really?
I love the rivalry aspect of this game. I think that it's at Mississippi State, so you know the dude is going to be jumping. Oof. I don't know. I think Ole Miss is a little bit hot, but I think I'm going to go with Mississippi State as well.
All right, there we go. Give me another opportunity there to take the lead.
For sure. Okay, well, since we ended with that, go ahead with your question.
All right, well, so they were talking, I believe Georgia's coach's name is Wes Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so a head baseball coach over there. Mississippi State, as you just mentioned, they've opened up, and he was asked today if he would take the job, and he shot it down. And the reason why I want to ask you about that is because last year with Schloss was asked during the World Series, right, if he was going to be taking the Texas job, he said no, basically no way, right? And I don't think any of the Texas A&M fans felt like he was going to be leaving. And then the very next day, he's in burnt orange as a Texas Longhorn. Do you think that we could be looking at the same situation here with Wes Johnson headed over there to Mississippi State to kind of rebuild that program? But what he's got over here with the Bulldogs is looking pretty daggum good.
I think he's done a lot at Georgia. I think, and I don't want to say he's taken them as far as they can go because he has taken them pretty far in some seasons. I think he's done a really good job at Georgia. I don't know because his address to the rumors was very, very quiet. And I think he did it as gracefully as he could because he was like, I don't have any intention on leaving right now. Okay, he left it open, and then he said, but his next sentence was, that's all I'll say about that. So he left it kind of open-ended. He kept it short, sweet, to the point. You know, it wasn't rage-fueled, outrageous, anything like that. If he did leave Georgia to go to Mississippi State, I mean,
you wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be upset with him. I mean, I can't be upset anyway. It's not my team. But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because it's not like we don't see coaches leave all the time.
Right.
However, it differs from the Schlossnagle situation because he got up there, battered a reporter. He was a jerk about it the entire time, and they were in Omaha, and he already had cards on the table that had been dealt and was just trying to sweep some stuff under the rug. I mean, the way the comparison here is the way the Georgia coach handled it compared to Schloss is two completely different sides of a coin. Like, you're looking at two different coins completely. I think if you're going to go about it, you go about it like this. But if you weren't doing those things and you weren't being gross, sneaky, and sliding deals out and having someone wait for you in a cemetery, CDC, I'm looking at you, big dog. But I think if you're going to go about it, you go about it like this. The only reason he made Texas A&M fans so mad at him is the way he said it. He got up there and he was like, that would be like asking Braden. First of all, he compared himself to a player, which was, first of all, we knew what Braden Montgomery was going to do. Looking back at it, what kind of foreshadowing is that? If you're trying to take the spotlight off of you, you really just kind of made it worse for yourself.
Yeah.
And then after he belittled the reporter, my favorite sentence, I've actually got a clip of this on my phone, and I use it all the time. He goes, write that.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
I would love to write that down. You know, it's just so gross. And just the way he handled it was not professional. He wasn't a professional about it. He was fueled by emotion, and I bet he wasn't expecting anyone to ask him that question because he really thought he was keeping things under wraps. But you can never keep anything a secret for too long.
So when Del Conte met with Schloss at a cemetery, was that during the World Series?
So this was right after we got beat out. We came back from Omaha, and then he was waiting for him in the Snook Cemetery, which I know you don't know this geography, but Snook Cemetery is maybe 20 to 30 minutes outside of College Station down Highway 60. And he waited for him at that cemetery so Schloss could get in his personal vehicle and make it home. And then he went to his house to meet with him to talk, to solidify the deal. Whole thing is gross, weird. Why are you hanging out at a cemetery? You could hang out anywhere. I guess you just don't want to be seen in College Station, but I promise you there are other places to wait. The whole thing is just really, really weird, and it was in motion way before anyone ever predicted. I'm just very upset. But you know what? Let's take a look at something. Has anyone looked at Schlossnagle recently?
I have not.
I would encourage you to pull up a photo of him. Anyone who's listening, and you can't tell me that he doesn't have more Botox in his face than a middle-aged white woman pretending to be something she's not. Okay, I'm just saying I can't look at him and not think about it. His buyout and all the money he's getting paid went to his face. He used to kind of look like a turkey when he coached for us, but now he looks a little bit like Kris Jenner. That's how tight his face is.
I'm seeing. It definitely is a different look than his time at Texas A&M. There's no doubt about that. I guess it depends on the picture that you're looking at, but yeah, it does kind of have that. And another thing with Botox is it kind of gives you that that shiny aspect as well.
He's had more work than just Botox. You can tell he's probably got more money in his face than my annual salary.
Well,
let's put it that way.
Probably ours combined, I would say. Wright State Chris, you're right over the Afternoon Underdogs. What's up, bud?
How you all doing today?
Man.
Good, how are you?
Doing good. Hey, I just want to mention something I don't name drop too often. Mississippi State does have a head baseball coach right now, and I played baseball with him at Wright State.
Is he the interim head coach?
It's the interim head coach?
Let's give Justin Parker a little bit of love.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I didn't mean to diss him like that, or your team. I knew they had brought someone in after they let Lamontis go, but I could not remember his name, honestly.
So you played ball with Jake?
Justin.
Oh, Justin?
Yeah. And when he got drafted, after he got back from the minors, I actually lived with him for a year while we were still going to school for a little bit.
Well, there you go, man. Whenever you want to, get him on the show with us, just let me know.
I asked him last year when he got the job as the pitching coach, and he he politely declined. He's just not into that. But if you ever do get him on the show, ask him about professional wrestling.
Okay, I mean, I'll do that, but if maybe you could, leak his number or something.
Let's not do that.
Not to the public, but just to me, and I'll say I got it off of the Twitter somehow.
I do feel bad for him and his wife. His wife is 20 weeks pregnant, and now they don't know what's going to happen at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just they're in a weird situation right now.
Well, best of luck to them.
He's 38 years old, and we don't think, you go look at SEC coaches, their average age, and I doubt any of them are in their 30s right now. So that's all I'm going to say. So it's just one of those deals, so. And it would be technically his first head coaching job ever, so,
Hey, I know another school that took a chance on someone with their first head coaching job. So, I mean, it's working out.
Didn't he?
It's working pretty well for us right now. It was a little bumpy there, but everything can work out.
Right, State Chris, let's work out a Friday for you to come in here and talk some college baseball with us, and maybe we can get Morgan to show up as well.
No, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Well, hey, great to talk to you as always. Take care and have a great rest of your Wednesday afternoon.
Hey, y'all too. It's great talking to you.
All right, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. A lot more coming up from Morgan Hilliard, or when we get back, we'll be back with Barbie. I hope you got a whole lot more to dive into. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. This is the Afternoon Underdogs.
The ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge.
Hi, this is Dave Neat from Panama City Beach, and I just won $250 from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida playing the Big Bracket Challenge. Thank you so much to Pepsi, Panama City, Toyota, UCB Hobby for making this happen. It was a lot of fun playing against other listeners and staff. Can't wait till next year. And go Ducks!
It's ESPN Northwest Florida.
MLB is incoming, and you won't miss a game. Introducing Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most major markets. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Just $45 a month with our promo code ESPNNW. Go to ESPNPC.com and click the Scorpion TV logo.
Krispy Kreme Donuts presents Minis for Mom, May 6th through the 11th. Mom will love the 4 new flavors that pack a big message into a mini donut. Perfect for celebrating the light moms bring. They're available May 6th through the 11th. Only at Krispy Kreme Donuts in front of HCA Hospital on 23rd Street, Panama City, and on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Krispy Kreme Donuts since 1937. Krispy Kreme Donuts, where you get them hot.
Now is the time for Braves country to cheer a little louder as the 2025 Atlanta Braves start chopping their way back.
Fly ball to deep right, way back and gone! Home run, Ozuna!
Tonight, Sean Murphy, Austin Riley, and the Braves defend their home turf as they take on the Cincinnati Reds, live from Truist Park.
Braves coverage begins at 6 o'clock, first pitch 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. ESPN Northwest Florida. The tradition continues.
It is a walk-off home run for Sean Murphy into the Braves bullpen.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdog.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
It is the final segment of the afternoon here on the Afternoon Underdogs. Don't forget about the Coach James Hale Show in the morning, weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. And then the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. In JUCO softball, the D1 state tournament for the FCSAA in the wild card game, Gulf Coast State College took down Miami-Dade 1-0 as they will move on, and we'll keep you up to date as we can through the postseason here for the Lady Commodores. In the 4A regional final series in high school baseball, Arnold outlasted Clay As we talked to Banji Bombadella earlier, 7-6. They win that series 2-0 after playing 9 innings, and a raucous ending to that one. And you could go to ESPN Northwest Florida's Facebook page and see the video. In the 3A regional final series, Sewanee loses to South Walton. I don't even have the score in front of me. I think it was 3-0, but South Walton moves on, winning the series 2-0. In the 2A region final series, heartbreak for Bozeman as they fall to Trinity Christian Academy 10-9, and Trinity Christian moves on, winning that series 2-0. In the rural region final series, Port St. Joe beat Cottondale 13-1. They win that series 2-0, and Holmes beats Jay 3-1. They also sweep the series 2-0. We've got some softball going on right now. Arnold is over there taking on Clay, and they are in the middle of that game right now. Bozeman travels to Florida High. Bozeman's 13-10. Florida High 11-10. They'll get underway tonight at 7 p.m. And then the Walton Braves 9-13. They travel to the host school, North Bay Haven, who's 21-3, and they'll get underway tonight at 7 p.m. I'm David Hayes, along with Caveman Rick and Morgan Hilliard. We're the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida, live and local from the CBC Construction Studios. Morgan, what else do we want to dive into?
Let's talk some drama.
All right, drama.
Let's talk
Can't
some
you
drama.
see?
I know earlier we kind of touched on this subject, but not too in-depthly. Have you had a chance to catch the Bill Belichick interview with his girlfriend?
I saw a little snippet where she was like, no, we're not answering that.
That was an answer to the question of
About
how
them.
they met.
Yeah.
And she refused to answer. And I'm going somewhere with this.
Do you know how they met?
No, I'm going somewhere with this. Just hear me out.
I'm here.
The entire interview seemed very, very weird. And like throughout the entire interview, she's it would be like me sitting on the couch, but like having an extra headset to listen into the show and like ask you questions in your ear, but no one else could hear you.
Right.
But she's like interjecting the whole time about what he can and can't answer. And bless his heart, like he did a really good job keeping it as centered on football as he could with all the array of questions that he was asked. But what was so weird about it is like, and this part got cut out, but I guess halfway through the interview, she put a stop to it and they left, and like she stormed out. I don't know about him, but like she put an end to it and they left.
Bill's like, why are you causing this drama for me?
Like,
not to her as much, but just to the guy asking
just
the question.
been on to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so we've seen this before.
Where did that go, Bill?
So like, I don't see what the problem is. He's like ditched and ducked questions before that he didn't want to answer. So what's the problem now? I don't get it.
My question overall is, sorry. My question overall is, how much are you willing to put up with to date someone as pretty as her when it affects your overall image
Well-being?
so
your
bad?
image, yeah.
Like it affects you so bad. I mean, there's also clips of her like on the field while they're trying to do a media day, like running the show and like telling people what they can and can't record and what to cut and whatnot. I mean, how much leeway do you really give someone?
I think it just depends on how much he's wanting to feel youthful, I guess, right? To an extent. I really don't know why, because he could have his pick of the litter, I would imagine, of young girls who are just interested in money. Maybe there's some sort of connection that they really do have there. But you're right, though. It is like not that image is necessarily the biggest overall factor when it comes to being happy and whatnot. But I mean, I don't know how you could be happy being a football coach and
having
like,
that
you're not
in
even
your ear?
Yeah, well, not even just in your ear, but like don't get on my football field and tell these people like what they can and what they can't do. This is mine, and then you can handle the emails and stuff like that. That's not a sexist thing. That's more or less Bill knows football,
coaching.
and yeah, exactly. And then she is been placed in charge of the
media, if you will.
Yeah, media. That's a great way to put it. So it is a little surprising, and I think that it does. I mean, men are going to look at things totally different, but I will tell you, too, men also put up with a lot of stuff just for attractive women, and 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work out because you just get left in the dust eventually when the next and better thing comes on for her.
So I'm going to tell you right now.
Let's do it.
I've been crazy before. And I still got left behind in a few scenarios. I feel like if you're a man, and this is just a woman's perspective, you can only tolerate so much crazy
100%.
before you're just absolutely not.
And even if you're still hanging around in the relationship, your give-a-dang's busted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just whatever at this point. And then when they trample on you enough, that's when it's all right, you can go... Because I've been in that situation before, too, where it's you know how much you outkicked your coverage, so you're kind of trying to play it cool, but then you get to the point where you're just all right, you're being disrespectful to a large extent. You start seeing things, you get rid of the rose-colored lenses or rose-colored glasses and just all right, I'm going to see this for what it is. I mean, I've had some wild situations before, so.
I don't know. I look at it, and to me, it's just very cringeworthy to be who you are, to have that type of notoriety, and have as much under your belt as you do as a legendary head coach, and let that be what everyone talks about now instead of what you've done and what you're going to do. Because I don't know if anyone else even talks about this, but he's got 15 of the top people coming to UNC to play for him. He's got good players coming in. We might see good things out of UNC, but it's all of that's overshadowed because of this.
Well, and you know how it goes. People are they're going to talk more about the negative than they are the positive. And that's a good point, because I didn't even know that UNC had 15 top players coming to, probably 15 of the top 100, whatever it may be, 15 of the top 300. That's still un-North Carolina-like, which is a big deal. Now, here's the other flip side of that. When they get home or whatever, and if things are good with them at the house, then maybe he's just I don't care, because Bill Belichick doesn't care what other people think. So maybe there is that aspect of it. But I like what Ohio Brad just said. Give a woman an inch and she becomes a ruler.
You know what? I'm not going to argue.
I'm getting out with Tad.
I'm just going to shut up. All right. There's been some arrests lately as well.
There's been a ton of them.
There's been so many arrests, and this is my favorite, when my two worlds collide, when the law and sports meet.
That sounds like a perfect segment, when the law and sports meet. I used to have this guy Dan Lust on, who's a sports lawyer, and so anytime something like that would happen, I would grab him on. Well, we've got the perfect substitution now. When the law and sports meet.
Yes. So I think the most interesting one is the Nick Brooks arrest. Now, this is a player for Texas, and I'm not talking negatively about Texas in this scenario, and I didn't choose this because of it. I'm choosing it because of the content.
Okay.
I know I have my own feelings, but this specifically is crazy. So Nick Brooks gets pulled over on his way home by Austin police, and they're like, hey, you were doing 15 over. Is there any reason for that? And instead of just saying, any kind of diversion, this guy just started singing like a canary. And he wasn't even asked any of these questions, by the way. He just starts singing. And he's like, oh, well, I just left this bar. And they're like, oh, well, you're underage. Why did you just leave a bar? And he's like, and they're like, well, have you been drinking? And he's like, well, this bar specifically makes exceptions for UT football players. And they're like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, actually, I was taking some recruits to this bar that is specifically 21 and up only, because they make such exceptions. And I was trying to persuade them to come to Texas. And he just starts giving up all this information, and for no reason. He was not asked any of these questions, and it's just kind of like, what really is going on in Austin?
He fired. He don't got a job today.
He's a football player, so
he's a football player. And I mean, he's like, I was just taking these recruits. They ended up, they did arrest him because they ended up finding a weed vape cart on his person, whatever. But aside from the point, he just divulged all this information for no reason.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is, don't say nothing unless
you're asked. No,
even then, plead the fifth.
I'm
just trying to learn from the lawyer over here.
You don't have to answer the questions, by the way, when before or after.
If anything, at least negotiate. Hey, I got some information I might be able to let you guys in on. If you're like, maybe look the other way and let me go home right now.
I would say save that information for actual interrogation room, when they've actually put you behind closed doors like we are now. Before they even read you your your Miranda rights. You are allowed to exercise your right of having a lawyer, whether you think you're innocent or not. That doesn't matter. Even if you are innocent, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. There's a reason why they say that. So, I mean, they can twist it however they want, but if I'm in this scenario, I'm going to answer their questions very straightforwardly. One of my easiest things to recognize is, do you know what time it is?
5:55.
That's where you messed up. You should have just told me yes or no.
Oh.
Do you know what time it is?
Yeah.
It's a yes or no question.
No.
It's a yes or no question.
No.
I didn't ask you for the time. If I said, hey, David, what time is it? Now I want you to tell me the time.
Gotcha.
But that's the easiest way I could sum it up, you know?
Okay. So yes or no questions you answer yes or no to.
I'm just saying, if I'm Nick Brooks, I would have exercised my right and been like, yo, I'm a U2 football player. Give me my lawyer.
Not very street smart, obviously.
Obviously. I hope he has
I've never had
better
an
luck in the
officer
classroom.
be like,
what?
What's
Do you
I'm
know
saying,
the
like,
time?
he's probably from suburbia, and he's probably like the first time he's ever had an altercation with a cop like this, perhaps. Maybe that's the reason why. You know what I'm saying?
So
Kind
we're-
of naive and gullible.
What I'm starting to see here is like we're kind of danged if you do, danged if you don't. You can't be. I guess obviously you need to be respectful.
Obviously,
you need to be respectful.
obviously, and you
But I
can
see all these videos these days on like Facebook and whatnot where it's just like, oh, why are you asking for my ID? You don't have. I'm like, bro, like, come on. The harder of a time I feel like, anyways, the harder of a time you give these people, like, give the law enforcement officers, you give them a hard time, and they're gonna give you. They have a higher leverage to give you a harder time.
With all due respect.
Even if you're innocent, right? They can still lock you up. And
with
then
all due respect to law enforcement officers and agencies, yeah, absolutely. If they're asking me for my ID and registration, yeah, I'm going to hand it over. But if I'm knowingly under the influence and I'm knowingly speeding and I know I'm not supposed to be, I also know I'm getting a scholarship to play football,
Keep your mouth
maybe I'll
shut.
just shut up.
Yeah. That is not bad advice. Morgan, I've got 40 seconds. What do you want to leave with us today?
I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. I hope that you've had a great time riding along with the Underdogs today, and me and myself. Maybe I'll see you Friday. And as always, thanks for joining.
Hey, there you go, Caveman. Any words of wisdom?
Don't talk to the cops. Yes or no answers. That's it.
Yes or no answers. That's it. I love you, law enforcement. Thank you guys for all that you do. I'm going to stay on the safe side of things here. Jesus loves you. So do I. Y'all have a great afternoon, and we'll see you here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Braves up next.
Now is the time for Braves country to cheer a little louder as the 2025 Atlanta Braves start